good, you guys? It is Tuesday and it's roundtable time. We're going to jump into some topics, some that are pretty heavy, some that are lighthearted, but I do want to give a trigger warning right at the beginning. Probably maybe the second conversation during the show is going to be some touchy topics, but you guys are probably expecting that. Welcome to this show. Thank you, Strange Days. Good to see you, brother. It's your first time here. Awesome, Chuck. Let me bring in our panelist, our sister Denise. Welcome, Denise.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good, I'm good.
Good, good. And we have House of Tattoos. How are you, House?
I'm doing good, Jen. How are you?
I am doing good. Running around like a mad woman today. Nothing new. Yeah. So my Wi-Fi was going in and out earlier. So God willing, it's okay now. But,
My phone's been active this time. I'm like, damn. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, it sounds fine, but it cuts in and out a little bit sometimes. I'm not sure why.
I don't know. I don't understand why either. You know, it's a. So I hope everything's better. How you been? You were saying it's raining.
Yeah, the storm is really bad right now. Like the lower lying areas here are flooding again.
Oh no.
And yeah, on the way back from my mom's, there's an area that kind of goes down a little bit. Not even a lot, but I guess because it's level, like with the fields.
Yeah.
It's flooding, and all these dummies are hanging out of their car with their cell phones, filming the water splashing up. I'm like, hurry up, dummy, before we all get stuck here.
Right? Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad where I live, it's not that bad. Especially when it rains hard. I mean, little areas get wet. It's really not that bad, you know.
Yeah, well, that's good. How was your weekend, Denise?
Yeah, it was good. What did I do this weekend?
Vanessa, Taco Tuesday.
Shoot, I don't remember what I did right now.
Well,
mine's in 10 different places, so let me.
Right, I know. I feel you. How about you, Hal? Anything exciting?
I did. I spent a lot of time with my grandkids this weekend. It was great, you know. I've been working on this project. That's why I didn't show up last time, and I finally accomplished it for my granddaughter and did some photo shoots of her and stuff like that on Saturday. And all my grandkids were here, so we had fun, man. It was good. Sunday, church, spent time, you know. Went to a men's breakfast, you know. Yeah.
Awesome. Your granddaughter's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, they're all beautiful, man, and you know, they're growing. I remember when she was just like a little kid, man. We used to sing oldies together, and she would be in the back in her car seat, and I put on some oldies, and she'd be singing with Grandpa. Aww. And now she's graduating. I'm like, you know.
Oh, I saw that picture of her. Yeah, with you guys, both of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
I know, it's hard to believe. Yeah, I have one graduating in June as well. So
nice. I'm glad those days are over, man.
I'm sure. Well, let's see. Let me get into something a little, not that it's super lighthearted, but a little more lighthearted before we get into, you know, what's going on in the news right now. I read an article recently, and it was about two best friends. These girls had grown up together. They became mothers. They even married guys that were best friends. So, you know, they were pretty much like family. And they had kids around the same time. But one of their parenting techniques, one of the couples, was way different than the others. So, lost Denise. She'll come back right now. So, different parenting styles. So, of course, you're going to get a different result with the kid, right?
Yeah.
Well, it started to become an issue because this other couple didn't want their kid cussing and, you know, acting a certain way. So pretty much to sum the story up, the two friends ended up having a falling out and not being friends anymore because friend number A, or letter A, decided to talk with her friend number B and say, hey, like, I can't have my daughter around your daughter when she's like dropping F-bombs at 4 years old. And she took offense to that. And instead of working it out, they like all the way had a falling out. And pretty much the meaning of the story was, do you correct people on their parenting? Or if you have a disagreement, how do you approach that?
I would say, okay, can I speak or what? Is that
Yeah,
cool?
go ahead, House.
In my situation, I would, it's also the parents. And
Mhm.
when you've been good friends for such a long time, those things can be worked out easily. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really not too big of an issue. Some things like that do happen, but things can be worked out, you know? And then communicate that, get together and communicate with the kids, you know, drop the words to the kids, what's happening, blah, 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 you know, and make sure you get your point across to both, you know, because your relationships, if it's been that long, you know, why ruin it? You know what I'm saying? Over
Right.
something. I really don't. The separation is a big issue now. You know what I'm saying? Rather than being able to sit down and work it out. Communication is very important, you know?
Yeah, communication is key. Did you hear the rest of that, Denise?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay. What would you do if that was, you know, maybe one of your daughters and, you know, you had just a different parenting style than a good friend of yours?
I think if we were good friends, we would be able to talk it out. Like Hal said,
Yeah.
you know, it shouldn't be that hard. Other than that, like kids will be kids, you know, and you can only teach your kid certain things. You know, you can't tell anybody else how to. You could suggest things, I think, but not tell people how to raise their kids. But yeah, if they're open to talking about it, then yeah, talk about it, and you know, you can get through that. I think if you're true friends, you can get through that. I don't understand how these guys were friends and then all of a sudden something came up and they just cut ties. I don't get it.
Yeah. Right, Machete, there's no such thing as a perfect parent. I agree.
Yeah. And you know, something like that, because I experienced stuff like that, you know, in my life. You know, certain kids they don't talk. You can't talk that way in front of these are cousins, though, you know. Oh, they don't want to hang around you because you guys be dropping the F-bombs and this and that or whatever, you know. But in reality, it's something workable, you know. It's just communicating to both the other parents and stuff like that, and chopping it up. That's it. Simple, you know. Don't make things so hard now. Now it's even worse now, you know. And I bet you they probably miss each other or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm
Like
sure.
stress or animosity amongst both of them. You know, both of them.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not necessary. It could be nipped in the bud easily. You know, if you're a person that can reason and can communicate, then there should be no problem.
Yeah. I think
If
it
there
also
is,
has to do with how you approach that person. If the parent, because I know if I feel like someone's stepping to me with judgment when it comes to my kids, that's some dangerous territory. I'm open to how do they say it? Like constructive criticism.
right.
But if you step to me with some funny stuff, like, hey, your kids, you know, it's not going to be too cool.
Yeah.
I think that has to. And I'm not saying because I experienced that before, and with my ex, you know, her kids were mine. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And same thing. I treat them equally. I'm not gonna favor mine, although they're my blood too. But see, the person can see above that. It's like I'm not gonna listen to one person's story and then punish my other one, you know, like my kids or whatever. I'm gonna listen to both stories and then I'm gonna make a right decision. I say, God, give me the right thing to do, you know, to say, you know. But like when I approached her, she would be offensive, just like you said, because that's their kids. You know? But there's no hatred from me, you know. I'm looking at getting both stories and see what's cracking, you know, what's cracking, you know, because it's not because my kids, they can be bad too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that.
Although I love them and all, but you know, they could be traviesos también, you know?
Yeah.
He goes Cholo.
Hey, yeah, what Cholo said right here. I didn't want my sons hanging out with my homeboys' kids anymore, so we stopped going over.
Yeah.
So here's the real reason why I looked into this article. I'm kind of going through this. And oh, it's hard, you guys. Like I've been cool with this girl for a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we live very different lives.
Yeah.
And her kids are a lot more grown than mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many times she's like, "Oh, let me get Ruby and bring her over." And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm starting to run out of excuses.
Yeah. A lot of times, our kids could be good examples for them as far as like, maybe they could learn stuff off Ruby, maybe they could learn stuff
Yeah.
off her.
A lot of the time, sometimes the bad rubs off on the good the majority of the time,
Right.
And I've
But I
seen that.
mean, if Ruby's pretty smart, she's
Yeah,
not,
yeah, but it depends. Every individual is different,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that if it doesn't stop, if it rubs off on her, then you're gonna know and you're gonna see, and that's when you could, kind of go to the next step, and the next step would be kind of pulling back. You don't have to make excuses. Just Ruby's growing up in a different way.
The good thing, I think the right thing to do is communicate with that person and how far you would go because the way the kids are or the person, and just if you have to limit the time that your daughter spends with them or this and that, whatever, whoever situation it is, just be in watch of it, But like sometimes I was that way too. I won't let this person hang around with some of the kids that like my neighbor's kids because there was too much violence going on over there,
Yeah.
And so, but I knew them for years, But I said, nah, you know what? I'm going to keep them away from them right now because it's not a good thing. But I kept the communication open with them because we're adults,
Right.
We're adults, we could get through this, and you'll see it's a lot better for the soul too, That's how I see it,
Yeah, it's like I really do care for this girl and I don't want to hurt her, and I really do care for the kids as well. They're not bad kids. I'm not saying that. It's just certain stuff. I mean, I'm sure Ruby does stuff she doesn't want her kids doing, So I don't want to sound like I'm judging, but there's also her old man is something else too. So that's another reason why, like, I would rather be there when Ruby's there. I'm overly protective all the way around. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jen, relax a little bit. It's okay.
No,
You go with your gut feeling, you always have to go with your feeling of how
you always have the protection.
you want around your kids.
Yeah.
Raymond.
True, Raymond.
What do you say?
Something happened to me this Sunday, and I got protective because I don't know who the person was, but I pulled up this Sunday. Just a quick story because my client's here.
Okay.
But I was going to church and I forgot something, my glasses. I came back to pick them up, and somebody was parked in my spot. But the dude was a gangbanger, and talking to my neighbor. Well, he was going to do something bad to them because he thought it was this person. I go, what's the address? He says, blah, 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 blah. Right. And I says, wait a minute, that's my son-in-law lives there. And he showed me his name. He showed me all the texts and everything. I said, wait a minute. Says, that's my son-in-law, man. And that's his daughter's right there. But you got the wrong person. So I told him, check it facts, because that person that you're looking for doesn't live there. And I don't know where you're getting it from.
Wow.
So I'll make a story real quick and short. So I talked to him about it and we discussed it. And after that, I told him I'm going to be going to church. He goes, what church you go to? And I says, hey, you mind if I connect with you? Because I need that. Nobody's ever talked like that with me,
No way.
See, I got protected because that's my kids, and my grandkids.
Absolutely.
So I did what I had to do, but I didn't do it in an asshole way, like, doing all this and that. Nah. What I did is I approached him like a man, bro. That's what I did, But my clients here, man, I wish I could stay on, but I got to work. So I don't know. I'll tap in. We're on the link. I'll be at work and I'll tap into Secubo again.
All right, cool.
Right on.
Thank you for
All right,
the
House.
input. Thank you,
Okay.
House.
Good seeing you guys again.
Same here. We'll talk to you later.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Sea Dog says, don't do it, Jen. I know, right? Saludos to all, says Cholo Trucker. We got Joker in the house, Cultura Cafe, Chuck Sausage, Machete, Sinaloa 760. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. Your first time here, right? Welcome, welcome.
Really? Yeah.
Raymond. That's right.
Hey, everybody.
Podcast. Vanessa, our brother, Strange Days. That's awesome, you guys. Thank God my Wi-Fi is cooperating right now. Vic, hey, how are you? Also, that was a good comment up there when you said that if your kids have never been mad at you, something like that, right, Machete? Then you're not really a parent. My kids have been mad at me plenty of times. Yeah, I know. So I'm going to jump into the next topic and we'll chop it up. We might have some other guests tapping in as they get off work or whatever, but we'll just kind of get into it for now. Hey, Vic, says, what's going on, Roundtable? Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Vic.
Oh, yo.
Yeah. So I'm going to be careful about some of the words that I use because YouTube is funny like that. And no, we don't want to get in trouble, offend anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm basically going to take parts of an article and just read it word for word. And then we'll go from there. And, you know, also, like I said at the beginning, guys, I just want to say trigger warning for some people that will be sensitive to acts of violence. So.
Oh, thank you.
And we are talking about the school shooting that took place in Nashville, Tennessee. There's really no easy way around this. So I'm going to, like I said, read from this article and we'll go from there. Thank you, Brenda Love. God bless you, amiga. Thank you. That's so kind. Okay, Nashville. A 28-year-old from Nashville fatally SHOT 3 children and 3 adults on Monday at a private Christian elementary school. Officials said leaving behind writings that detailed maps of the school and the security protocols. In the latest episode of GUN violence that has devastated American families. The assailant opened fire just after 10 a.m. Now, I did see the video. I'm not sure if you guys, they have released videos, different videos of this person that did this terrible act. And yeah, like she circled the school, she rolled up, parked, and she basically shot her way right through the front doors. And just literally, to me, in my opinion, mind you guys, this is an unfolding story. Like we're getting information from different news, you know, places that are getting information from who they get it from. So not everything's going to be completely accurate. So just give us that grace. It looked to me like she was going around hunting from room to room. And like I mentioned, I say she because I know there might be some issue with that, but she was biologically born female, but identified as male. So I really don't know too much more than that. But Chuck, you gotta get back to work. And thank you, Chuck. Thank you for being here. I know they were holding a vigil, a prayer vigil, like right before we started. And obviously it's super sad and details are coming out as we go. You know what, Cholo? It says when I looked this, I looked her up and it said that it was a biologically born female. Yes. So, I mean, I guess the only way to be completely accurate is when the autopsy report comes out. I'm sure they have to check something that's accurate. So,
yeah, we'll hear about that later on. But
yeah, because she was taken down by police when they did a sweep of the school, which I do want to mention as well. Those police officers, I feel like really did a good job. I know. I mean, they were in there. The whole thing lasted, I guess, like 14 minutes, which sounds like a really long time, and it is. But I hate to compared to some other situations similar to this, it could have gone on a lot longer, but it looked like they were literally going through the school and issuing each other some feedback and things like that as they moved. They weren't just standing outside.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard Denise that she went to another school first and the security that was standing outside was pretty obvious, so she went to the school.
Yeah, and I heard that she attended that school before.
Yeah, the
She was
Christian school that she did
younger.
this. Mhm.
Yeah. I
I had heard she was a former student as well. And the police chief, I mean, I'm sure it's just, it may not be factual, but he's giving what he feels.
Mhm.
He feels that she may have had some sort of issue with the school on a personal level.
Right, like a vendetta kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what he had mentioned.
Yeah, I think we'll hear all that stuff in a couple days. I do kind of like to wait to see, you know, what does come out, what truth does come out to all this. And the story, obviously, it just happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of judgment going on right now. And, you know, with the type of rifle she used and, you know, why she did it, this and that. But we don't really know yet. We don't know what yes, it is wrong. You know, I'm not going to deny that. You know, being that into firearms myself and my family, you know, it's very near and dear to my heart that this stuff happens. And it's not the guns, and I'm sure you heard that. It's the person, you know. But as far as that goes, yeah, it's horrible that this happens. It's you know, like, what do we do? What can we do? We vote, we do all this stuff, and these things are going to happen. It's sad to say that these things are not going to stop.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, Strange Days.
Yes, thank you.
Respect Jen and Denise and everyone. Saludos. You know,
hi.
Yeah, it's something that we remember we kind of touched on bullying last week.
Yeah.
And in that article, if you remember, the police officer that did the briefing for that news station had mentioned that voters had voted out having security on campus because they thought it scared their kids. And that came back to me when this came up, because I was like, man,
yeah,
do you scare your kids by having armed security, or do you take your chances? And that's a terrible thing to even have to rationalize. It makes
the president said something about being quote jail, like we don't want our kids to be like they're in jail. But at the same time, do you want it to be a morgue? Like, no, you know, we have to have, there's a swap meet down here that we go to, and I'm sure you heard of it, the Santa Fe swap meet. There's armed guards there, and it's a swap meet.
Really? Okay.
So why can't we have, you know, and they pay for that, which what I was told, the swap meet.
Well, I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Security, you know, carrying officers. And why can't we have those at school? You know, and I'm real adamant about having teachers armed. Of course, you know, get them training, have them train every 6 months, have them re-up their skills every 6 months. Like, do something like that. Like, our teachers, if our kids can be armed, not, you know, necessarily, you don't hear of them being in the school armed, but things like this happen. Why can't their teachers be armed? And why can't they be taught how to use a firearm every once in a while, you know? Well, I mean, it goes with everything. It goes with, like, teachers dealing with bullies. It goes with teachers dealing with kids, with autistic kids, with it kind of goes down that path. You know what I'm saying? Like, get them help. Yeah.
Night Joker, God bless.
Yeah, let the teachers carry and get them training. You know, why not? I mean, it's going to save how many lives at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it took 14 minutes for them, but that person already killed 3 teachers and some kids already? And
3 teachers and 3 9-year-olds. Yeah. Yeah, 3 teachers and 3 9-year-olds. I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, that would be ideal. I would be down for that. I would vote for that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in California, my opinion and yours is not the majority.
Right.
So that's not what's taking place. On my kids' school campus, I do feel blessed because there is, it's an actual sheriff's guy, deputy. I forget what they call him. Oh, school resource officer.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I could dislike him. He did arrest one of my kids for a fist fight once, but he's there when something pops off. You know what I mean? He's only doing his job.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I kind of do feel a little safer when I see that car there.
Right. And I seen the car there. I haven't really seen, and I used to work at the school, but I never saw our safety officers if they carried or not. This was back, what, 10 years ago? But, shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. No, yeah, majority. Okay. So like legal firearm people, holders, they don't do this type of, we don't hear of this type of stuff.
Right.
When you hear this kind of stuff, it really hits home. It really does. It kind of messes it up for everybody,
Yeah. Well, don't you feel like, I mean, I don't have a ton of knowledge on firearms, but don't you feel like there's a lot of misinformation that goes around about the certain firearms? And I hear a lot of talk about that.
Right. And that's, again, it's going to veer off a little bit, but when they talk about, what do they call assault rifles? They call them assault rifles. And that came from the liberal, and fake news. Okay.
So it's like a political thing.
Right. We don't call them that. Of course, we're gun owners. We don't call them assault rifles. Who are we going to assault? We have them to protect our home. We have them to protect our home.
Yeah. So a responsible gun owner doesn't refer to them as assault rifles.
No.
Got it.
That name was given by the fake media and the.
Hey, Artie.
Yeah, it's not a good. Of course, they do assault people with. These people do assault kids and them with these weapons, but we call them weapons. That's what they are.
Yeah.
They want to go use them as this certain act, then they're going to do it, and it's sad.
It is sad.
Really sad. It makes me want to cry because it's so sad.
It is, but it's like
us as gun owners, we use them, of course, to protect our home.
Yeah.
Not to go harm people. That's not what it's about. It's about protecting yourself and having that Second Amendment right to bear arms, and that's what we have. Sadly, that it's used the wrong way. Just like it just it's kind of like the old man that ran into that crowd. I don't know if you remember. I think it was last year at that street fair. He ran into them with his car and killed I don't know how many people.
I think I do remember that.
Do we call our cars assault weapons? No. It's the act that the person takes and does.
I know where you're going with it. There's a lot of things that could be used to harm people.
Oh, yeah.
We don't, not like we want to give anyone any ideas, but there's a lot of different goals.
There's a lot of different things that assault and kill people.
Yeah. You know what? This is difficult because again, I don't want to offend anyone, but it just is what it is when you get down to the facts. I don't remember. I mean, I didn't have time to research it. I don't remember, in my time anyways, reading about a biological female doing a school shooting. With that said, I know they were probably on testosterone, and that changes the whole makeup of a person. But I don't know the whole medical get down of that.
Yeah.
That kind of tripped me out too, because I thought wow, I don't remember hearing of a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that either, but yeah, mental health is you don't give a person, at least I know they can't have a legal firearm if they have mental issues, if they have depression, if they had, taken medication in the past, present, they're going to find out before they give you it.
Well, yeah, and it's already come out via her family's statements to news articles and different news stations, and they say it like this: she was under medical care for mental health problems.
Yeah.
So how did she obtain 7 different firearms legally?
Oh, they were legal?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. See, what state was that again? Minnesota?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yes, we are, Cholo, but sheesh.
Women are crazy.
You gotta lighten it up. Yeah. They were legal.
I was waiting for that to come out to see like what, and like, again, I don't know other states, their laws. I'd have to look into that too. I would love to look into that and see why she was allowed, those firearms. I would love to know. And I was waiting for that. I really was. I think I told you that today. But I didn't know it came out that she was.
Yeah, I just seen that right before we went on.
Oh, okay.
The school incident was unfortunate, but the left government and the media will drive gun control, and this is a distraction to what is really going on around the world. The media is our enemy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel that way. Strange days.
Yeah.
Artie, how are you, Artie? I also saw a bit of the news where, if anyone wants to tap in, by the way, you guys, I'm going to share the link. So welcome to it. Where they had interviewed, I'm sure it was the police that interviewed her parents. And her mother had, I guess, made a statement. Mr. Goyo in here? How come I don't see him? Let me know if he's in here, Artie, because for some reason I don't see his name. So let me know, please. Her mother saw her leaving, I guess, that morning with a large red duffel bag and asked her, what's in the bag? And she kind of just like didn't acknowledge her mom or walked off. You know how that goes. They just chalked it up to mother-child issues, right? Which this was not a child. This was a 28-year-old adult. I just mean between the mother and child, it can be that way.
Yeah.
But apparently that's where she was carrying the firearms. Yeah. This world is crazy.
How old was she?
28.
28. So 28-year-old, I mean.
You're right, Artie.
I mean, yeah, that's a mother-daughter thing. If I probably would have demanded a little more to know what was in the bag, being that.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll look into that. I'm sure they will. See, and Darlene, I get it. There's both sides of things where we are the only country that has mass shootings. We don't need guns that were made for wars. But I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I've heard that same. It's so hard because I know this could have been done even just with a handgun, but just the amount of damage that could be done, I guess, with a higher powered rifle, is that how you would say it, is what people are referring to. Yeah. I don't see him either, Nick. I'm going to have to look and see what.
He was in here, but he probably got out. He said hi.
Yeah, but I don't see his comment, so I'm going to have to check it out. Shout out to you, Will. Got that right, Artie? Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like this
all just, yeah, it has to do, when you alter your mind, you're not in the right state of mind.
Yeah.
When you're taking medication, you're altering your mind. So if she was on some stuff that's trying to, alter her body.
Well, it changes how you think, how you operate, your whole. I've even heard, I mean, as far as like my county, I know if you've been diagnosed with like severe depression, PTSD, you can't get a controlled carry permit for sure.
No, yeah.
So, I mean, that's something that certain areas, I guess, take very seriously. I don't know. I guess every state, not so much.
you're going to have your legal firearm holders, and then you're going to have your illegal people that get hold of them.
Yeah.
And if there's a will, there's a way. I mean, it's sad that, it's sad that everybody in Congress is fast to say, oh, let's restrict gun laws and this and that. But it's not the legal gun owners. It's not fair. It's not fair that the things that they put, but we don't mind them. I mean, we don't have nothing to hide. Like, if it's going to help, then it's going to help. Put a hold on there. Put a hold on how long it takes, or put it even longer if you want, but do a thorough background. Yeah. Most of people down here in California, yeah, they do that. And, felons can't own firearms. There's a reason why. And, that's just the way the law is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's good that, I mean, if you're going to have them in your home, you have them responsibly, like, put away. Obviously the situation was different. Her parents say in another report that I read, they were not aware that she had these guns. They knew she had one, but she sold it. They didn't know she went out and bought more. So that was one thing. Another thing, she had made I think a post or a text to a friend, basically saying, like, remember that message I sent you earlier? Like, basically that was my goodbye. I'm going to take myself out of this world, and you're probably going to see me on the news. And there's a large podcast that I watch. I'm trying to remember his name, Patrick something. And somebody on that podcast was like, well, they should charge that friend with something because they didn't report it. But I looked it up a little more. That friend actually did turn that in. She called her father, and then her father told her to call the police and let them know. But by that time, it was already too late.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's another thing. If somebody, if you know somebody, whether it be a situation like this, hopefully not, but any situation, and they tell you they're going to harm themselves or harm other people, what do you do? Do you just think they just want attention, or they're probably just messing with me?
I think it's serious. I think you should take it serious. They're not saying it for just some reason. They're saying it for a reason. And I mean, I don't know if you can anonymously call in.
Yeah.
There's always a way, there's always a way to report stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's sad, but like a lot of times the law is not, it's sad because you have to, they have to do something first before they take action. You always, I hear that a lot. Oh, if they ain't bothered, did they bother you? Did they do something to you? Well, no, not yet, but thinking about it,
It is unfortunate. Like, I happen to know for a fact, unfortunately, when it comes to adults, if it's a loved one that you have in your family and they maybe are struggling mentally, have some issues, it's next to impossible to get them help unless they've committed a crime already. They literally have to make a threat of severe harm to someone else or themselves, and you've got to basically have proof of that for something to be done. Otherwise, the answer is they're an adult. Unless they want help, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah. And, obviously she hid them from her parents. She's not going to go show them what she got.
Yeah.
That was the case, and it's just, it's sad that, I'd be all over my girl's room. I'd be in there.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, there's the door. If you don't want to abide by my rules, like, go ahead. You can leave. I love my girls that much. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
that's how it was. My mom did not care as far as that went. Like, you're under my roof.
Right.
I own all this area. So if I want to walk in and look around, I will. And I feel like some of that type of parenting has gone away. Now, I get it wanting your privacy and stuff, but if you're doing things to make your parents or your neighbors or schools or feel funny, like, you should probably look into it. Appreciate
No,
you.
yeah. I mean,
Thanks, Margaret.
it's I don't know. I don't think it's that hard to, well, I pray, that I don't have to ever run into something like that. I'm open with my girls. I know who comes in my house. I know who leaves my house. Like, come on. Yeah, we don't have surveillance on. We're not home 24/7, but you know what's going on in your house.
Yeah.
You know that. You know what goes on in your home. So do I. And stuff like that, like, no, you can't.
Yeah, if you feel like something's off, I definitely encourage you to look into it.
Right. That's it, plain and simple.
One of the things too that I was thinking, it's sad no matter how you look at it. But one of the children whose life was taken was the child of the pastor of that church. And not that makes that loss any greater, but I thought how awful that must be to be the pastor of a church where you're trying to comfort the mourning of your congregation, but also your own loss.
Yeah,
that's got to be very difficult.
I mean, bottom line is that if we're gonna do anything, we need to have our teachers carry. Somebody in the school needs to have that. And I'm not saying just one person. I mean, put together a structured panel like that is gonna be there when this happened. I remember, back in our days, we just did the earthquake drill, right? Now there's drills for these mass shootings, and it's sad.
I know.
It's really sad, but I just want something to be more. I just want that. That's the only thing I can think of. They're gonna come in and be armed with weapons. Well, so should that place where our kids are most of the day. There's ways.
A lot of people feel the way you feel. I'm in California, I think, because that's how they're voting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can all agree to disagree and have an adult conversation, which I appreciate all of you for sharing. And this is what makes a great conversation, is being able to share our different opinions and be passionate about it without attacking each other. So I appreciate that. Excellent.
That's my opinion. I don't have girls in school anymore, but I know that when we had that resource car. I always seen that cop car parked outside.
Yeah.
I didn't run into them all the time, but yeah, we have security guards, like I said, at the swap meet, and they're armed. So why can't we have them at our kids' place of education?
Yeah. See, I didn't realize you had them there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Even at the indoor swap meet, they have them.
Yeah. How are people allowed on the premises? They need guards at every school. Yeah. I mean, it's my personal opinion, but yes.
Yeah, we all have our opinions. This is something that we all have the right to the right to carry, to bear arms.
Yeah.
We go back to that, and and everybody feels some type of way. I'm just saying that not all. It's not. Yeah, I got to look into this because I was shocked to hear
this
right
now.
It's allowed to carry.
Just happened, literally. Hey, shout out to you. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sorry, I just read that. You lost your brother to murder in 2022. I'm a disabled wife, 2 daughters. I definitely understand, especially losing a loved one in a violent manner like that, you do feel a sense of like, I need to protect my family that's still here.
Yeah.
But those entrusted school personnel invest their time to become qualified marksmen. But will those? Okay, I see. Yeah, that's a good question, Vince.
I mean, if they're able to teach,
Mhm.
they shouldn't be. I mean,
Right. You know it. Yeah. I like that what Nick said. He said, yes, that's what the round table is here for, respects. Yeah, we can all definitely have a convo and keep it
sorry to
going.
hear that already. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
too bad.
Tomo Buds. Hi, Jen and Denise. Yeah, that's the truth. Nobody was around. I didn't see Gates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darlene, this apparently was a legal gun owner. I'm not sure how she became
I
that.
really want to look into that because I just yeah.
I'm so sorry, Artie. Yeah, that is concerning. If somebody is under care for like serious mental health issues, that blows my mind how they could obtain seven guns. Yeah, absolutely. My hands still work, but they don't come alone most of the time. That's right. Jojo AZ, it's good to see you. Where have you been? It's great to see you, though.
Jojo.
God bless you. Yes, says Denise. Salute. Yeah. Jojo AZ.
So yeah, there's a lot more to learn about this. This incident. I can't wait till more comes out to be able to understand. I don't know. Yeah, it just depends on.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. Like,
yeah, it's really tough. It's really tough because mental health, it's something, man. It's not nothing to play with. And I don't know how she was able to get those. My mind's going crazy right now.
I know. I think all of us, like parents, that's what it's doing to us.
Yeah.
Fortunately, my kids are home on Easter break right now, or I don't even know that I would have sent them to school. And I know that doesn't probably make any rational sense. I'm not even in the same state, but you worry about,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're funny, Jojo. Artie says, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I guess schools around there were on heightened alert because other news officials said that they noticed police cars parked, where other schools were at in the area. Switch everyone in the chats. I send mine.
Yeah, on that. That's bottom line is I just need to, kind of know more before I say anything because there's just a lot that's going to come out.
Sure there is. Yeah. Kultura, thank you. Thank you. Jen, I want to thank you for continuing the roundtable. These discussions deserve a lot more viewers. I agree. I think these are important conversations, right? It's crazy how many people overlook these channels. Thank you, Kultura. We appreciate you.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I hear, Artie. That's what I hear. So did you see, I don't know, this other story was a while back. It was a couple weeks ago. I was going to mention it, but I think our conversation about something just kind of got away from me. 4 brothers and 2 kids already. Life is so short.
What did Jojo say?
Jojo, I'm so sorry. Wow.
Oh, yeah, he's the one that lived alone. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, condolences, Jojo.
Yes.
Hey, JM, how are you? So great to see you. We appreciate you. Yeah. So this story was about, unfortunately, it has to do with something to do with firearms too, but these individuals went into a church during church service. I think it was in South Chicago. And they were masked But fortunately, the pastor, he was ready for it. He was actually a retired police officer.
Oh, wow.
And he saw them coming in and realizing, a lot of churches, they live stream their service to YouTube or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he saw them coming in, like tells them, kind of signals, have a seat.
Mm-hmm.
They sit down and he walks up to them and he's like, you know what? I think he said something like, I'm so glad you were sent here. I know you were sent here. I know what you were sent here for. And they're just kind of frozen. At that point, I think their masks were off. But the way he handled that, like he flipped it on him and took control of the situation.
Wow.
And he's like, I'm so glad you're here. I know what you were sent here for. I'm going to pray for you. Can I pray for you? And thank God they were like, for whatever reason, they were like accepting to it, and they just sat still.
Yeah.
And he had his people that were filming, like motion for them, like, put the camera over here, get this. So he would have them on video. And thank God, nothing popped off during that service. And I believe law enforcement arrived, and they had done some robberies allegedly around that area that same day.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's some like quick thinking on that pastor's part.
Right. And that comes down to, knowing the Lord and having a relationship with him. And the devil knows when to flee. I'll tell you that much.
Sure. For
So,
sure.
Yeah. I'm glad that worked out.
I know, me too. Me too. I'm going to drop the link once more if you guys want to tap in, go for it. I had a couple more people that were going to be here, but unfortunately.
No, I'd like to get their opinion too on it. I don't think too much because like I said, I don't watch the news, and I've seen, flash here and there, but
yeah,
there's no explanation for those type of people. And for her to legally own those firearms is just something else. It blows my mind. Like, I want to know why she was able to have firearms.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. I don't know. I was always taught to respect them in a sort of way that, have a respectful fear for them. Like, you do not touch that unless you plan to use it. Like, you don't just play around with it. And
right.
You know what I mean? Artie, if you want to jump on, jump on.
Sadly, back when I was like 8 or 9, I had heard, and this was kind of down the street from my house. This kid was playing with the father's firearm, and it went off and it killed him. We don't hear of that too much.
Yeah. Hey, Joel.
What's going on, ladies?
Oh, we're cussing and discussing.
I haven't cussed. Oh yeah, earlier today. Earlier I did.
Yes. Right.
I've been checking you guys out. Big fan, by the way.
Well, thank
you.
So, obviously this sorry, doing something here, but
you said women are crazy, huh? Are we all crazy?
Yes. No, this shooting, right, that took place. What was it in Nashville,
Tennessee?
Yeah, in Tennessee.
Nashville.
Every time something like this happens, everybody gets all up in their feelings and wants to come up with a solution. I don't think there is a solution. I think people can do certain things to mitigate it, but just like so many things, there's really no actual solution to stop it 100%. Now, that doesn't mean don't try to, mitigate these things from happening. Obviously, try to come up with some sort of resolution, but at the same time, to have this, 100% across the board that this is not going to happen, that does not exist. And to tell you guys the truth, from shoot, I think I saw from 2009 to 2020, I think it was, or 2008 to 2020. I think in mass shootings, like 1,300 people killed. And while that sounds like an astonishing number, I mean, in all reality, just in the state of California itself, not across the country. By the way, that number that I gave, it's a little bit chalky if my memory serves correct, but that's across the country in mass shootings, right?
Right.
But just in the state of California, just the state of California, you got, I think over, what is it, 5,000 or something that die in car accidents. So you have more that die in car accidents than you do in mass shootings. And I think it was something like,
What do you feel?
40% that where they're not at fault. So even if you take that percentage where you're not at fault, being in a vehicle where you're just at a stop sign or at a red light and you get T-boned by some douchebag and you die, that means it wasn't your fault. That's still a higher number in a year annually than these mass shootings have been in so many years. That's not to say let's not focus on this. I'm just saying it gets thrown out there, and then everybody likes to have the conversation of guns and how many, there's more guns than there are people in this country, and that's true. I think it was in 2021, there were over 48,000 that died in the hand of guns. Now, a lot of those were suicide, and you guys remember 2021 was lockdown time. So a lot of these numbers could get a little bit chalky once people want to start talking motive, when there's people that go in and start lighting up schools and just mass shootings like that. Sometimes motive, we try to find some sort of reason, and obviously this person is not reasonable, right? Whether they were pushed way too much. I heard people talking about bullying. That could be a little bit that has to do with it. In other cases, you know, some people just aren't mentally stable.
Hey, Cholo, can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah,
hey, you know what? I have this guy here. He knows you, and he's a fan of your channel, and he's getting tatted, and he just wants to say Jewel, and he wants his opinion too. He has a good opinion. He's out from Long Beach, and here he is. I'm gonna work on him. Here he is.
What's up, Tony?
Hey, what's going on, homie? Shouts to Longo, dog. Did you make the drive from Longo to Moreno Valley?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I'm in Long Beach.
Hey, House, you better do a damn good job. That homeboy, he made a drive, man.
How do you like it so far?
It's legit. It's legit. He's hooking me up. I'm doing a whole sleeve.
We're gonna do a whole sleeve.
Nice. Okay, this is the sleeve. Okay.
He does. He has a good point too. We were talking, listening in the background to you guys, man, and he has a point. This guy is on point, man. And
yeah, I just came back in the room, was listening to what you were saying.
But he says he started mentioning Cholo Trucker, Gunner fight, and I says, "Oh, you watched that guy?" I said, "Who do you think won?" He says, "Oh, Gunner all the way." Cholo Trucker.
I did not say that.
I'm just messing with you now.
Here's the headgear right here.
Oh, you have a
You still got it? That's a good fight, man. I respect what you guys both did. That was huge.
Gracias. I appreciate it.
Hey, well, it's a small world. I never expected to have somebody come in here and know Cholo Trucker, and he does. Look at that. Bam.
Of course, he's famous. You didn't know?
Cholo Trucker's legit.
No.
Right?
But,
Hey, and just for the record, I'm black. So, yeah, we see Cholo Trucker. Definitely.
There
hey,
you
so
go.
what's your thoughts, man, on the school shootings and all?
Okay, so my thoughts on the school shooting is, It's just crazy, man. It's like, it just seems weird to me how like it fits the agenda of the administration that's in at the time. It's like, it seems like it's just kind of convenient for certain people and certain people's agendas. But I was just telling him how I did respect the fact how those police went in so quick and handled business, right, and saved those kids, as opposed to the what was that, Valdez?
The Uvalde, yeah.
Was it Valdez?
Yeah.
Uvalde? Yeah. How they stood down and didn't really get in there, and a lot more people got killed. So I really respect how those, I think it was only like 3 cops, they went in there and just handled business and just got it taken care of. Yeah. It's probably saved a lot of lives. So I respect that.
Yeah, me too. They were like literally giving each other blow by blow what was going on and communicating as they went through. And I was like, that takes a lot to run into that and just actively be updating each other. Just the 3 of them. Yeah.
I had to respect that. The way they went in there, I mean, that's one thing. I mean, like, I know in our communities, we all say what we say about police. We all deal with them on the level that we deal with them. Yeah. But on a real level, you have to always keep in mind that, like, when it comes down to something like that, if your child is in an elementary school and some crazy weirdo lunatic goes in there shooting, those same guys that probably sweated you on the street are going to be those guys that go in there and clear them hallways. You know? So they went through those rooms. They're like, oh, it's a bathroom, clear, and they run out and they go to the next room.
Yeah.
Like, that takes a lot. Like, that's crazy.
That's how it should be done.
That's how it should be done. Yeah. But it takes a lot of heart to do something like that, knowing there's somebody in there with a rifle. You don't even need to get out of the land, but yet you're going through there searching. It's like going in a house you've never been in, and you know somebody's in there with a gun, and it's your job to find them and get them out of there. Right? Yeah. But they could be hiding anyway. So, shout out to those guys.
Yeah, shout out to them. I agree.
And a lot of those times too is like they have to wait for certain commands. They can't just go and do what they want to do. There's a lot of red tape that they gotta, you know. So it's sad that they have to wait for certain commands to go and take somebody out, but that's harming our.
Very true. Just real quick, I just looked it up on another tab right here, so I didn't want to get my numbers way too off. No, it's 3,904 people that die annually in the state of California in car accidents. So that's a much higher that dies in mass shootings. But yet everybody's still driving. Now, I don't throw that out there so people won't think about school shootings or anything. But what Homeboy was saying right there, that's very true, because whenever these mass shootings happen, it seems like law enforcement just shows up and they just hang out outside. And I get what you're saying, Denise, that there's red tape. They got their hands. They can only do so much, right? They have to be told. And I'm glad the response on this one was not that, because it always gets everybody talking like, hey, why don't you go in there? Well, we don't know how many shooters there are. We don't know. You're right. You don't know that. What you do know is that there's people in there and that there's someone in there with a gun going off. Okay. So you being in there, you having, at least some form of training, right? Yeah. And you being armed, it's probably a better chance for you to be in there that those people have. So I never really understood the whole, hey, let's just sit here and wait till we get our orders. I'm like, hey,
that's a law that's where it needs to change. That's the law that needs to be changed.
Yeah, it's
forget the command shit. I mean, they're killing people. Go in there, do what you got to do, and
a little bit more freedom to act quickly. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So they definitely deserve their praise on that. But look, for everybody, I think somebody put on there that no kids should go to school and fear of getting shot. Listen, look, yes, let's all work for a better environment, a better place. Absolutely. I'm not saying what I'm about to say does not mean let's not do anything about it. But look, man, life, there's a lot of moving parts, and living in a, in a country like this where you're free of religion and beliefs and the freedoms that you have, there is a price to pay. There's definitely a price to pay. We shouldn't have locks. Why do we have locks? Why do we need to lock our doors so people don't go in? People shouldn't be going in where they're not invited, but we have locks, right? We shouldn't have to, but we do. Okay, we shouldn't have to wear our seat belts because everybody should be driving safely, but we do. Okay, there's a lot of things of, hey man, nobody should this, nobody should that, nobody should, yeah, but you know what? But we do. Why? Because life is not going to be perfect. There's not some sort of super utopia that I don't know what we compare it to, but
it's life and reality. And now these days, things are changing, and it's reality, And like, you're right. I agree with you, Cholo Trucker. I agree with you.
You know what it's also called? It's also called politics.
True.
And that goes for everything. I mean, it goes from the police to the government to the neighborhoods we grow up in. It's political.
Right.
Like somebody says, stand down, you stand down or you face the consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in the previous example in Uvalde's or whatever that it's called, I may be pronunciating it wrong, but I think they most likely had a stand down order. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure they have that many people standing outside of a school and listening to all those gunshots and kids getting shot, and they're not making any moves whatsoever. And I believe a mother ran in there and just like,
Yeah, he did. A military guy, right? Walked in there and
but I think it was a mom and maybe a guy as well, but I know there was a mom for sure, a lady that ran in there and just like, I can't take it. Ran there and got her kids, and I think it might have been a dude as well.
yeah.
But it had some type of order from headquarters that they were taking. And I could be wrong, but I'm assuming that's what it was.
Yeah.
Right.
And it seems like in this last case, which was what, yesterday, those guys weren't playing any games. They didn't do too much radioing in. From what I saw, and I watched it on Twitter, and I watched the camera that they had on their vest. Those guys just got out. This guy ran to the door. He said, I need 3 people with me. You got 3 people or 2 people or 3 total, whatever the case may be. And they just went through it and handled their business.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's still early. They probably did that on their own. They probably didn't even bother to wait. I'm not saying that's what they did. I'm saying we don't know. It's still very early.
Yeah.
But they probably just defied orders or didn't even wait for orders and say, we hear shooting. We're not going to wait around. We saw what happened in Uvalde. Let's just go in there. Guys, you with me? Let's go. So
Right. I think that could be possible, but they're probably going to lose their jobs.
I hope not.
Sad to say.
I think this is where the public will really come in and make some noise.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we got a new subscriber to Convicted Hearts right here.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go.
You guys were talking about there's a protocol for this, right, with the law enforcement. This was not a school shooting, but just to touch briefly on it, when my stepfather was shot and they came to the house, SWAT had the house surrounded for about 45 minutes. At that point, my stepfather had already been shot twice, and he was, not doing too good. And those of you that know that story know that my stepfather was a detective at that time. So this was their coworker. And one of the people that were out there, one of the SWAT members, ended up breaking orders and rushing through and just coming through the window and grabbing him. And he did face some backlash for that, but they didn't fire him, thank God. And he even got injured rescuing my stepfather and pulling him out of that window. But if it wasn't for him, I don't think my stepfather might not have made it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to answer Darlene, but in a car accident, you're not intentionally going out to kill people. That may be true. I don't think most people, but most people with guns in the United States of America are not intentionally going out to kill people.
Did you remember that old man that went through that street there and intentionally went and killed I don't know how many people? So I mean, it happens. It does happen.
You guys see that on the news
It
about
does happen, but I get what she's saying. I want to be fair to what she's saying.
Right.
Whether it's intentional or not intentional, there's still more people in the state of California that are killed by accidents that are not their fault. Like I said, they're just sitting at a red light, or they're following the proper traffic signals, and they get killed. Now, whether it was intentional or not, they're dead.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm riding a bike in the rain.
Riding a bike. Riding a bike and getting hit.
Did you guys see that one on the news about the lady traveling on the freeway and the guy lost his tire?
Yes.
Oh, that car went flying.
I'm
That was crazy.
surprised. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
So
understand
maybe we should ban vehicles. I don't know.
that
Well,
was
you know that. Okay, see that's kind of what I'm getting to. That's kind of what I'm
I
getting to.
figured that's where you were headed.
No, that's kind of what I'm getting to, right? It's like, here it is. Here we are in this country. We have this stuff that's offered to us. You can take it if you like. If you don't, you don't. But because people are not perfect, man, things like this are going to happen. It's unfortunate, and I'm not saying let's not do anything about it. I'm just saying things like this are going to happen. I mean, look, we know there's a lot of junk food that gives us health issues later on in life. How many people indulge in that stuff? It's there. You don't have to do it, but you do it. A lot of people do it. It's there. A lot of people say education is key. I don't agree with that. I think education is a start. I think discipline and obedience is key. Because you could be educated on so many things, but if you're not disciplined and you don't have the obedience, then the education is really meaningless.
That's true. Very true.
most definitely.
Sorry, guys. I'm just over here looking up diesel prices.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can imagine.
I'll just go ahead and read it out. Just
Right.
So what's your opinion, Cholo, about having teachers learn how to
Shoot.
Yeah.
You can't make them if they don't want to. I mean, I'm sure teachers are going to feel differently about it. It's going to
maybe not all the teachers. Maybe, like I told Jen, maybe like a group of people that are willing to, back up their place of work.
Everything in the country is voluntary. Okay, so when people complain about the cops and the cops need more this, the cops need more that, or teachers this, teachers that, it can change the landscape. So you have, let's say you have a teacher that is at a school and she's very anti-gun and she doesn't want guns around her, or him, right? And now they're like, well, you know what? Now we're gonna bring guns into the school. Certain teachers are gonna have them. It's up to them whether they want to carry it or not. And now certain teachers are gonna say, I don't want to teach anymore because I don't want to be around guns. Everything can change the landscape of the profession. Nobody is made to be a teacher. So I'm not completely against it. Yes, I would say bring in all the staff and everybody and say, like, look, this is what we're gonna do. If you're against it, if you don't want to hold a gun, you don't want to be trained in this, that's fine. You're free to go and just get the staff that wants to do it. However, that's probably going to take away some of the teachers that want to teach. It's going to have some sort of effect of the landscape of teachers. And then, what about the teachers union? Where are they going to come in on this?
Right.
Well, that goes back to the politics because they're going to be political. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of teachers that have guns already. But as we all know, school zones are always 100% gun-free zones.
Right.
Which is why you get all these shooters going to schools shooting. When's the last time you seen a mass shooting at a police department?
Right.
Wow, good point.
And I believe if
Shooting at
politics,
a gun rally? Never. Because as soon as you pull out and start shooting, somebody's going to drop you.
Yeah.
But if you go to an elementary school, I mean, as weird as that sounds, I mean, it's just a.
Mhm.
Hey, Cholo, did you hear how did you hear when I said the securities at the Santa Fe swap meet, Carrie?
yeah. Oh, I seen them put in some work, man.
Yeah.
They threw some dude in through a window one time. I remember that. I was there with my son. A fight broke out. They grabbed dude and they threw him through a window. I don't think they meant to throw him through the window, but yeah, he went through the
But
window.
I mean, have a security outside the school. Like most schools don't.
Yeah.
The college does. College where I live by. Yeah.
Things have changed big time compared to how when we used to go to high school and they used to have narcs in there, but no guns like that, But now it's gotten even worse, man, because of these copycats and hey, let's take it out on these kids and stuff, which is no good, man. When there's a kid's life at stake, you do what you can to protect it, And I feel even if it's going against the grain, and you might get punished for doing it, but at least you're doing what you're supposed to do. If your job is you sign up to protect and serve the community, and you got things that will help hold you back because of your watch commanders or whatever, but you have business, man, to save lives out there for the kids, man. Because kids are something to me. To me, kids mean a lot to me. That's how I see. That's how I see. Hey, my gonna die on my phone, but hey, I just wanted to show you one of your fans, Cholo Trucker, and
right on.
Denise.
Right on.
You got a talk?
It's in the living room, but
No,
I'm I like to listen to my when I tattoo.
there you go. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Shout out
All right,
to Long Beach,
Hey,
man.
it's a blessing tapping in with you guys. I appreciate it. Definitely.
All right,
Thank you.
big dog, man.
Good night.
All right.
How
What
that sleep comes out too.
I was gonna say one thing. Shoot. Oh yeah. All it takes is for those that are completely against having schools at having guns at schools. All it's gonna take is one accident. One thing to go wrong right there, and that's
Yeah.
again, we all have the freedom of having our different opinions and different beliefs, and that's one of the big issues on why all this clashing keeps going on.
Yep.
Everybody believes that they're right, and we just keep on clashing with one another. So that's just the way it is. When I look at so many different things that were fought before to have the freedoms that we have now, I see people just willingly wanting to go back and doing it. Self-segregation in some ways it's kind of happening again. People doing it themselves with the we over here, them over there, us over here, they over there, my people, them, and a lot of these things. So just I think it just comes with the territory. Things like this are gonna happen. Not to say let's accept it and just say like, oh well, no. It does need to have it's something. But at the same time, if it's somebody that doesn't care about their life, we're thinking about somebody who's rational. If it's somebody that says, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna shoot up, a school and then I'm gonna kill myself, I'm not really sure what one can do. Or if they jump in a car and say, I'm gonna aim it right at a school, and that's it. And I'm not gonna wear my seatbelt, so I'm gonna die. I mean, how much can really be done,
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, I would volunteer at the school, Cultura. I know a lot of parents would, those that can make time, with their work, but I definitely would.
Hey guys, just
Yeah.
fun fact. Diesel prices just in the last month, from 2020 of last month, was $4.62. 7 days later was $4.68. 306 was $4.80. 313 was $4.83. 320 was $4.76. And just yesterday it was $4.73.
Yeah. Is that a national
I
average?
don't know why I just read that. I'm just doing a couple of things. That's all.
Is that a national average or is
Yeah, is
that
that nationwide or?
That is California. That's
okay?
California.
Okay. I know right here, I mean, the diesel at the gas stations, is that the same as you're talking about? It's
Well, I
like,
just said on average, so
okay, it's a little over $7 here.
Okay.
Yeah.
wow, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take a picture of our gas station down here. It's a little over 7 here.
Mm.
But
Yeah, it's like 5 something here. Where you live at? Cholo?
Linus.
This is
No,
California.
Oh, it's
I
like
love
what?
California, but dude, our gas is like 4 something right now. What
Mhm.
for regular car?
Is it? See, and ours for regular car is like almost 6.
Oh,
It's a little more. It's like 5
For
something.
gas, it's
Mhm.
man, I don't see it that expensive right here where I'm at.
It's like
That's weird.
5.49 right now at Chevron.
I gotta check that out next time I go to the gas station.
Yeah.
On diesel anyway. It's good.
Yeah. The only reason I know with the diesel is my son's always calling and complaining to me because he has a diesel truck. And he's like, I can't believe it. I'm like, I know. Gas is expensive too, son.
Hey, Jen,
Yes.
you were talking about having a friend or your kids or
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to do.
okay, so one of my good homies, right? A real good homie of mine. And I still consider him a good homie, but we don't really hang out as much anymore.
Mhm.
Just because he's on another route, yeah, I didn't want my sons hanging out with his kids anymore.
Mhm.
They were very undisciplined. They were a little bit more free to run around, and the way they talked, the way they acted, what they were into, things like that. And I just said, you know what? We're just not gonna go around anymore, man. I'll just kick it with home. I'll just kick it with my homeboy every now and then, I guess. But I'm not, as far as us going over there or them coming over here like that. I'm not gonna have that anymore because, yeah, these kids are up to no good.
Mhm.
So that's basically what I did. And telling somebody, hey man, look, your kids A, B, and C. I mean, it all depends. To tell you the truth, I don't think girls would take it very light.
No.
I think guys will probably be a little bit more level-headed.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I don't know about your situation, but it's a couple thing. It's not just talking to one person if they got both parents around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, nah, man, these kids. I see you don't discipline your kids. Your kids are,
Running wild.
yeah, they're just running wild. So,
Yeah.
so now I'm not gonna have my sons around your
Yeah.
baby
Funny you
kids.
say that because yeah, I still live in the neighborhood and like how we just grew apart. Our kids grew apart, and that was for one in particular little girl that went to our school.
Mm-hmm.
In the neighborhood, she was a homegirl's kid, and
Yeah.
the girls ended up. They just had different lives.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely it. Like her, she has, I don't know if it's her man right now or not. He's always in and out of the picture, but I don't know. She's okay. So when my washer and dryer, like the washer went out and the dryer went out like a week later, I had to go to the laundromat, and she was like, "I'll meet you there." She didn't tell me she was bringing her kids with her.
Oh.
So we get to the laundromat, right? And she's like, and here's where it comes from. It's her that they see this from, right?
Yeah.
We're walking down the little aisle of the laundromat, and she tells this guy, and it's a man, "Hey, get out of my way. Why are you stepping so close to me like that?" He was not stepping to her.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Hey, you need to shut up. You're going to get me and you both into something. You're being disrespectful here, and you don't even live here. You're going to go back home and not have, have to deal with this." Like,
Yeah.
she just could not, she didn't understand where I was coming from. And I was like, "Man, I cannot go anywhere with you."
You know what? I used to have a homegirl, and her daughter was very mouthy.
Mhm.
And as a matter of fact, she was very mouthy to the point where they ended up getting kicked out. They moved to Arizona one time,
Hmm.
and they moved over there with some of her family, and they kicked them out, and they ended up coming back to California. And the mom, she would keep on saying like, "Oh, it's because she speaks her mind." Nah, it's because she's a disrespectful little girl, man. That's
Mhm.
why. Because she's got a little mouth on her, and you don't discipline her on it.
No.
Don't try to turn it into this positive, like, "Oh, she
Yeah.
speaks her mind." Nah, childish. She's a disrespectful little brat. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Call it
You
what it
know?
is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, at some point, same thing. I kind of stopped hanging around because your little, daughter will come around and just start mouthing off, and it's like there's no discipline, and that's a thing. When there's no discipline, things just fall apart. It
Mhm.
just falls apart.
Yep.
So
So
we
true.
need discipline.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We do. And I think we'll end it on that. We need discipline, you guys.
Yeah. Discipline your kids, damn it.
Right?
Well, I mean, just going back to this. I'm sorry, but just going back to the shooter, right? I mean, where's the parents? I want to know who the parents are. I'm
Yeah.
not saying name the parents, but who are the parents?
Yeah.
Where was this kid raised? Who was the parents? Who was the guardians? Who took care of this person when they were a kid? How was their upbringing? Things of that nature that I never hear anybody talk about. When any of this stuff happens, right?
Mhm.
It's like, well, let's find the reason, and we don't know the reason. We don't know the reason.
Yeah.
Why don't we look into this person's childhood?
Yeah.
This person could have been scarred, man, from as a kid, from maybe not their parents, maybe could be from their parents. Don't know, but this person could have been scarred. You got the Menendez brothers who off their parents. Now, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, it's because of the money." Yeah, maybe it is because of the money, but it wasn't just because of the money. I actually believe them, because who's going to off their own parents?
Right.
Both kids, by the way, agreed to off their own parents
And that
just for money.
Yeah.
No.
And you ask where the love is there. Where's the love there?
There was lack of love. There was definitely some abuse. Yeah. Yes, I'm sure they did it for money as well, but they were already damaged. So where is the responsibility on parents, on guardians? Why don't we ever see the family, the upbringing, or investigate, look into these mass shooters and the childhood that they had?
Yeah.
That's a good point. They should actually research that and start
Start
learn something.
understanding why this happens. I mean, we
Most definitely. Definitely. I
Mhm.
thank you guys for being here. I just wanted to say, when we're signing off, the show is dedicated to Dr. Catherine Kuntz, 60, Mike Hill, 61, Cynthia Peak, 61, Evelyn Dykes, 9, William Kinney, 9, and Haley Scruggs, 9. These were the victims of that shooting. So thank you guys for your input, your opinions, and everything we shared. And let's move forward into the week with some positivity, hopefully. And
Yeah.
remember, we do live in a country that is free, and we are very blessed for that reason.
Mhm.
So,
Thank you, Jen, for having us on again. Thank you for
appreciate it.
table. Thank you,
Appreciate
Cholo, for coming on. All that good stuff.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, ladies. I feel like Jen's my boss. I wanna-
See, now you know how I felt.
Yeah, you switch places up here.
Right? What a trip.
You know what? I just want to say gracias for everyone who tapped in tonight, to my sister Jen Magana and the Convicted Hearts family. And thank you so much, Jen, for having me on. And gracias to everybody that tapped in. You too, Denise.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys, next Tuesday, 6 o'clock. We'll see you then.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good night.